a Stephanie White, Caitlin Clark little interaction here that seems like Caitlin Clark wasn't too happy with whatever was going on between her and the coaching staff tonight. You got Stephanie White doing the yapping that she does. Caitlin Clark doesn't want to hear it. Physically cringing. Look at this. Physically cringing, looking physically ill. Looking physically ill. Physically ill by whatever Stephanie White say. Like, damn, I'm tired of hearing this, but hey.
Even though Caitlin Clark had just finished a game that she would probably prefer to forget, what transpired after the final whistle might have created even more concerns. The focus soon turned to the sideline, where something seemed obviously wrong, while the cameras looked for reactions. Why did Caitlin appear so aloof? Was there conflict with Stephanie White, or was there anything else going on behind the scenes that the public was unaware of? After the Indiana Fever's humiliating defeat and Caitlin Clark's awful performance, the cameras captured a moment that put fans into full detective mode. Security didn't have to step in because of a technical foul, an expulsion, or a spectacular yelling match.
I'm still pissed off. I'm still pissed. This was straight up sabotage. Stephanie White, you are a bum. Aaliyah Boston, you are even more of a bum. You are a $6 million piece of garbage out there. Your ass can't make a layup. You refuse to pass the ball to Caitlin Clark. You stink. You stink. You've been intentionally not passing the ball to Caitlin Clark for the last 7-8 games. We've been watching and counting. I've been watching your ass not pass her the ball.
Indeed. That was precisely what added interest to the moment. One question abruptly took over the conversation as Caitlin seemed to turn away from Stephanie White. Was something far larger beginning to fracture beneath the surface, or was this just the frustration of a harsh night? Because people tend to concentrate on the wasted opportunities when a celebrity suffers. People typically point the finger at the defense when a team loses. However, the discourse rapidly shifts when a franchise player's body language with her coach becomes the primary topic of discussion after the game. And this particular setback offered fans plenty to fight about.
Oh yeah, y'all thought we was done? We ain't done yet, dog. I'm here to tell you, Caitlin Clark is letting all the cats out the bag. There's too much surrounding this team nationally and internationally. In regards to Sophie Cunningham, in regards to Caitlin Clark assaults, in regards to Stephanie White not taking up for her players. Should we keep going with storyline after storyline coming out about this team? And not to mention, Stephanie White not challenging any of Caitlin Clark's fouls.
The Fever faced a struggling Dallas Wings squad going into the game, yet Indiana lost 91-85, which was upsetting. Despite finishing with 10 points, 9 assists and 4 rebounds, Caitlin Clark's shooting statistics were poor, as she was 2 for 8 from three-point range and 4 for 15 from the field. That performance doesn't need to be sugar-coated. Caitlin's performance was poor. She struggled to establish a steady rhythm, missed shots she usually hits, and never seemed quite at ease in the offensive flow.
Stephanie White said, no, get over here. Get over here, CC. Let me talk to you. Don't you walk away from me. Yeah, I'm walking away. I'm walking away. Again, folks, not the most entertaining game. Too many screens set for Caitlin Clark today. Personally, I wanted to see her be a little bit more aggressive. She finished taking 15 shots. Me personally, she finished the first half shooting 2 for 7. Shoot, if we're shooting 2 for 7, at that point, shoot 2 for 11. Keep hunting that shot. Keep hunting that shot. Keep hunting that shot.
This was a night where nearly everything felt a little odd for a guy who can dominate a game with a single long three-pointer and convert an ordinary possession into a highlight before the defense really recognizes what occurred. That's where the debate gets much more difficult, though, because one of the biggest grievances from fans was that Caitlin never really established a rhythm, not just that she missed shots. To be clear, Kelsey Mitchell is not being criticized here. Nobody should be acting as though a player who scores 37 points needs to apologize for her skill. When given the chance to score, Mitchell performed precisely what is expected of a scorer.
Dallas Wings won 91-85. I'm disgusted, B. I'm not even gonna lie to you. Kelsey Mitchell did have a good game. She dropped 37 points. She officially passed A'ja Wilson, so she has the most consecutive 20-point games. With that being said, Stephanie White, can we get back to trying to win basketball games now? She has the streak. She won it. She won it. Can we get back to trying to win now? Because I think this is nasty. All right, it was blatantly clear to me that she was making this game about Kelsey Mitchell, to the point that Aaliyah Boston's not playing good. Caitlin Clark's not playing good. Like, let me tell you something stupid. We ain't gonna win nothing like this.
Frustrated fans claimed that the balance was the issue. As they observed the offensive, they thought Caitlin was not given enough chances to settle in before the game started to drag on. They cited a number of situations in which she seemed to give up the ball without ever getting it back, the lack of early pick-and-roll moves created especially for her, and the restricted movement employed to produce clean three-point opportunities. That is a crucial distinction because there is a difference between advocating for Caitlin Clark to shoot every possession and advocating for one of basketball's most dangerous offensive players to be actively involved in the offense.
It had everything to do with them seeing Caitlin Clark climbing that MVP ladder, and they said, hell no, we are sabotaging this, and that is exactly what happened. The Indiana Fever lose to a team in the Dallas Wings that lost 8 out of their last 11 games. You could thank Stephanie White, who wanted to make it all about Kelsey Mitchell. I am disgusted with the Indiana Fever. I am disgusted. Stephanie White, get your bum ass in the trash. Get your bum ass in the trash. You are a bum of a coach. You are terrible. You are terrible. You mean to tell me the very first play of the game was ran for Kelsey Mitchell? Caitlin Clark threw her a bounce pass. Kelsey Mitchell went to turn the corner, got fouled, went to the free throw line.
The Caitlin Clark Basketball Association, where everyone else waits in the corner for a government-issued permission slip to touch the ball, is something that no one is requesting. That is not how basketball operates. However, if she is forced to stand off the ball for extended periods of time, the offense may begin to appear as though someone changed the Wi-Fi password by mistake and no one is aware of where the connection went. Fans felt that Kelsey Mitchell was being purposefully established while Caitlin was supposed to learn things out later, which was the source of their frustration with this game. She had already missed enough shots for the entire night to feel like an uphill climb by the time the Fever started placing her in more advantageous actions.
Clark get mugged, get hacked down there every play. We seen her get tackled tonight alone. Well, I'm here to tell you, there's more, because Caitlin Clark is single-handedly, subliminally telling us fans that there's issues going on with Stephanie White. Now, Caitlin Clark was on the sideline. Stephanie White was trying to talk to Caitlin Clark. Now, this should not come as a surprise. When Caitlin Clark gets frustrated, she don't want to talk to nobody. And this was another situation like that. Only thing different is Caitlin Clark sat, she listened for a little bit, kind of turned away, walked away, went to the bench. Caitlin Clark got back in the game, got the ball, and Caitlin got like this move, a gesture. You can tell when Caitlin Clark not finna pass the ball.
Basketball can easily turn into a psychological battle as much as a physical one if a shooter starts to lose rhythm. The strain on the subsequent try increases with each missed shot. An active defender suddenly seems even harder to defeat, and every possession starts to feel heavier. A player may progressively become more aware of past misses rather than playing freely and responding instinctively to what is happening on the floor. As the game went on, Caitlin Clark looked to experience that kind of dissatisfaction. She tried to become more aggressive later in the competition, but it seemed harder for her to regain the rhythm that had eluded her earlier. Eventually, as the game grew increasingly stressful, the focus moved from the missed shots to a Stephanie White moment. Everyone's attention was instantly drawn to a video that went viral showing Caitlin seeming to look away while White was trying to speak with her. The truth is that a player's relationship with a coach cannot be fully captured in a few seconds of footage. It had been a challenging game for Caitlin. Emotions were undoubtedly running high as the Fever dealt with the frustration of a disappointing loss. It's possible that the player was just upset with herself and wanted to get over a challenging stretch. However, when a moment like that is captured on tape, especially when Caitlin Clark is involved, fans will inevitably scrutinize every action as if they were suddenly employed by the FBI's basketball conduct squad. That is the peculiar reality of modern-day professional sports. Almost every encounter comes to appear like evidence once fans start to assume that there might be friction between two people. When a coach addresses a player, spectators start to question whether the exchange is constructive or critical. Social media starts writing a relationship obituary for a couple that might not even have an issue if the player turns away. One bad camera perspective can quickly lead to a dozen theories, many of which are made behind closed doors. Body language, timing, and interpretation play a major role in the conversation surrounding the video. Even then, the discussion has brought up a far more significant basketball question. Are Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever regularly making the most of their offensive system? When you take into account Aaliyah Boston's contribution to the attack, that subject becomes really intriguing. Despite Boston's 14 points and 9 rebounds at the end of the game, several supporters were upset over what they saw as lost chances surrounding her relationship with Caitlin. Nevertheless, Boston and Caitlin have the potential to form one of the league's most potent two-player combinations, so the worries about offensive chemistry shouldn't be completely discounted. Boston's propensity to play around the hoop and Caitlin's ability to stretch the defense and generate passing possibilities should put rival teams in awkward circumstances all the time. When their relationship is strong, defenders have to make tough decisions because giving Boston too much attention can provide Caitlin the space she needs to attack or create for another teammate, while aiding Caitlin too aggressively can make room for Boston. Elite offenses push defenses to make difficult choices because of this kind of balance. Defenses have serious challenges as the ball goes with purpose because to the synchronized rhythm, and as the game progressed, the missed opportunities became more apparent. Dallas found enough balance to take advantage of Indiana's inability to build steady momentum. Jessica Shepard finished with 26 points and 8 rebounds after putting up a strong showing, especially in the first half. Despite having a poor shooting night, Paige Buchers contributed, and Enrique Ogunbowl added 32 points. Because they generated enough offense, made crucial plays when the chance arose, and exploited an Indiana squad that struggled to establish a rhythm, the Wings didn't need every player to execute flawlessly. Fans were especially irritated by the Fever's defeat because of this. Indiana was not up against an invincible foe who just overpowered them from start to finish. This was a game that seemed winnable, so once the outcome was determined, every opportunity lost seemed more apparent. When a team loses a tight game that many fans think it should have won, the quest for an explanation starts right away. This search can get particularly intense when the team has one of the most watched basketball players. While some questioned the coaching approach and the distribution of offensive possessions, others faulted Caitlin's subpar shooting performance. While some blamed the supporting cast, others thought the Fever had gotten overly preoccupied with finding Kelsey Mitchell's scoring groove without doing the same to help Caitlin discover hers. The intriguing thing is that multiple of those arguments can coexist without anyone needing to develop a covert sabotage hypothesis to account for the defeat. Although Caitlin's lackluster performance was worthy of praise, the squad would have benefited from more offensive balance. Additionally, Stephanie White is free to make choices that supporters disagree with without always demonstrating a conscious effort to discredit Caitlin Clark. Unfortunately, once an unpleasant game makes its way into social media, nuance tends to vanish. When a straightforward villain is offered, fans seldom seek a convoluted explanation. They want to know if the superstar is privately enraged, if the coach has lost the locker room, who is at fault, and if the entire team is somehow getting ready to implode before the next game. Convoluted explanations are not nearly as interesting as starting a film with the line, "The Fever have officially entered basketball civil war." However, real life is typically far more convoluted than that. Nevertheless, Caitlin's body language was significant since it conveyed information that statistics were unable to adequately account for. She seemed irritated with the game, the chances she had lost, and the way the evening had gone. The crucial question is whether that annoyance stemmed from a single challenging evening or if there is more going on. Kelsey Mitchell is one of the league's most dangerous scorers, so she needs opportunities. The team's future depends on Aaliyah Boston's growth and self-assurance, and the rest of the roster must believe they can contribute to the system. Caitlin shouldn't, however, spend a lot of time acting as a costly decoy while the offense goes around her in order to create balance. There must be a compromise that allows the Fever to utilize her exceptional talent without becoming predictable. On nights when Caitlin is having difficulties, that balance becomes even more crucial because excellent coaching isn't always about waiting for a superstar to handle every issue on their own. Sometimes giving a struggling player a single, easy opportunity to boost their confidence is the greatest approach to support them. An open view might result from a well-designed screen. A player's anxiety can be calmed with a simple basket. And the course of the next few minutes can be drastically altered by a single successful possession. A player's confidence starts to return as soon as they watch the ball go through the hoop. The entire offensive may suddenly appear much more dangerous, and the defense must once again respect the threat. Because of this game should be seen as more than just another unsatisfactory shooting display on Caitlin Clark's stat sheet. It should serve as a reminder that communication, rhythm, organization, and trust are necessary for even the most gifted players. Possessions can be won by individual skill, but winning teams require a strategy that often puts their top players in advantageous positions. If Caitlin and Stephanie White's exchange was only a moment of annoyance, the Fever ought to be able to go past it all and move on. However, the Fever would need to deal with any real friction that is emerging before frustration starts to negatively impact the team's harmony. Given that every game involving Caitlin Clark is already scrutinized, Indiana has too much at stake to let uncertainty and discontent become a regular aspect of its character. Since Caitlin is still one of the sport's most significant and talked about players, every challenging performance and awkward exchange will garner significantly more attention than it might for another player. That focus can be really harsh and draining at the same time. That fleeting encounter between Caitlin Clark and Stephanie White is still the greatest enigma for the time being. Did the camera just catch a few moments of Caitlin's annoyance during a very disappointing evening, or was she actually refusing to interact with her coach? The full explanation is only known by those in the locker room. Fans won't only be watching the basketball until Caitlin Clark and Stephanie White make another appearance together. They will be observing all of the interactions between possessions, including talks, emotions, and body language. Given how swiftly one annoying evening evolved into a comprehensive investigation carried out by basketball fans equipped with screenshots, slow-motion footage, and theories that would make a Hollywood screenwriter proud, whatever transpires next could spark an even more extensive discussion than the game that sparked it all.